All right, everyone. Remember a while ago when Jank and all the others at the Young Turks, they had problems because I think one of their former employees was suing them for sex discrimination. I think then Jank's thing came out that he had that blog years before where he was saying some off-the-wall sort of, college frat boy sounding stuff. Some of it was a little more malevolent than that. Most of it's forgivable. Let's not be hypocrites. But it was funny because, of course, Jank has made a career out of calling other people sexist. Turns out he's got, views that are probably further out there than, a Trump does. So it's kind of funny. And he probably still has those views. I mean, he can pretend that he doesn't. That's probably a cop-out, but, whatever. Now Vice Media is being sued for sex-based pay discrimination. Basically, they pay their female employees less. Why am I not friggin' surprised at this? Look, doesn't it seem like all of these scandals involving some variant of racism or sexism, like 80-90% of them involve groups that are on the left, the groups that I guess they're projecting psychologically, because they've literally, in some cases, individuals or groups have made enormous amounts of money, made careers out of calling other people homophobic, sexist, racist, they suck off corporations. It's even bleeding out into politics. It's more than just, Farenthold was using taxpayer money because he's, sexually assaulted somebody, so he paid it off with taxpayer money. By the way, the Republicans are nuts. They still haven't forced him out. Or Al Franken or Conyers or something like that. It's beyond just the politicians. In a political sense, what I've seen is that a lot of people on the left who claim, women's rights, gay rights, people should be equal, treat people with tolerance and respect, They idolize all of these groups and figures that do anything but, and they still don't even realize why the discrepancy between what these people say in public and what they actually do in their personal lives. It's because they're living a double life. Look, they're getting paid big bucks to say what they say on TV. It's market tested. It's literally to increase the income of a corporation. They'll deliver you the news as long as it's profitable. Why do you think that Salon now uses a paywall that makes you mine cryptocurrency for them? Why do you think these groups are lying to people constantly and constantly projecting and haranguing on issues that they're being total fucking two-faced hypocrites on? It's because it's where the money is. There's no other way for them to survive as companies. They're too inefficient. I've warned people of the legacy media. As they get more and more desperate for money, this is going to become a bigger and bigger problem. Now they collapse eventually. They stop being able to make ends meet. Some of them go out of business entirely. Others get gobbled up, become hopefully more efficient, don't have to do that sort of nonsense anymore. For the most part, the Vice is totally out there, and they're constantly, almost every week or so, you get some big heavy-hitting article about some terrible sexist or about pervasive sexism in the workplace, sexism in the church, sexism in Washington, D.C., like no shit, people mistreat one another. It's all one-sided. It's only men mistreating women, and by the way, that wage gap is really, truly real. We promise you. Just don't look too deeply into why it exists, because people have differentials on what kind of jobs they want to take within fields, but, ignore that. Let's just look at the fields as a total, because we're crazy and we're hoping that our fans are morons. Vice News has made all sorts of money hand over fist talking about these issues, and it's exactly like the Young Turks. I mean, it's more than just that. With some of them, it's more obvious than others, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes well beyond just, the Vice, the Young Turks. I wouldn't be surprised if virtually all of these groups, I think, what was it, Vox or Gawk or some Jezebel or some group there, they were talking that half their staff walked off because of something like this not that long ago. It's over and over again, we get these media orders. They always seem to be missing link media. The missing link between the old multi-billion parent company cable firms and mega radio, the dozen firms that control 90% of the corporate news. And the new guard of the media, which are people like myself, people who are using YouTube or a blog or something like that and have no corporate overlord. At most, maybe they have a sponsorship deal. By the way, in full disclosure, I have 0 sponsorship deals, and I'm very glad for it, and I keep getting people messaging me, telling me to front some product, and it's never going to happen. Unless the product is specifically mine to control, sorry, I'm not going to pitch your product. If I like what you make, maybe I'll drink it or eat it on camera or something, but I'm not going to tell other people that they should buy it if I don't like the product. I have to be using it for myself. It's like Red Bull, I get some free advertising, but they don't pay me for it. They could pay me in Red Bull if they wanted. You could ship me a crate of the robot piss. It'd be great. Yeah, I'd have a great time. It'd be wonderful. That's a little aside, though. I'm not going to sell out to them either, even if, I enjoy the product. Anyway, Vice Media being sexist is not a surprise, though. I wish I could say it was a surprise when some left-wing order that makes a career out of saying one thing turns out to be something totally different. Ooh, it's never happened before. It's almost a little bit like that's pervasive within politics in general. It's not just the left. No, we got to call out the right. It's just like family-friendly Fox. Oh, the nuclear family, and, apple pie and 50s hairdo. Sort of Bill O'Reilly, hey, I wear a tweed coat when I go swimming. And then it turns out that he's, allegedly, and we have to say allegedly for legal reasons, allegedly going around, trying to grope people, leaving obscene phone calls, telling people, hey, come back to my hotel room. And it turns out, in some of those cases, by the way, it wasn't even really harassment. It was just him making a pass, and it was really clumsy. But in some of them, it was beyond that. And it was good that he was fired for it. Ailes apparently like to, watch women in miniskirts bend down in front of him and weird shit like that. And this coming from a network that prides itself in, well, family-friendly, nuclear family. How dare Bill Clinton get sucked off while being president? Trump, as an aside, would probably go after him too if they didn't think that their own fans would abandon them at high levels. Trust me, they would, for fiscal reasons. If Trump was caught, if they had a tape of him screwing Stormy Daniels, which is like front page news right now, it's outdated, doesn't deserve to be, it's not even really a scandal, doesn't involve his life as a politician, but somehow it's more important than the FBI defrauding the entire American public, or the FISA system spying on everyone. Those don't matter. War? Cold War, who cares? Stormy Daniels, oh shit. Donald Trump had sex with a porn star. Oh goodness, it's terrible, terrible time. All of a sudden, the people on the left pretend to be moralists. Now we know that his lawyer was the one that paid money, had nothing to do with Trump. I'm wondering if the lawyer didn't fuck Stormy Daniels. That would be funny. Oh, yeah, I'm Donald Trump's lawyer. Oh, goodness. You must be loaded. Can I see your Maserati? Something. Oh, come on. These people do that stuff all the time. Meanwhile, people are focused on that. They're not going to talk about the fact that Vice Media apparently does actually discriminate against female employees. See, here's the thing. The wage gap, statistically speaking, as a total, isn't real. There's no pay gap between men and women. There's a fact that women tend to enter different positions within fields that tend to pay less, partially because some of them are also balancing home time because they fucking raise the kids. They have that kind of family structure. By the way, in most cases, they've chosen that. They're not being compelled into it. Or they've taken time off from education. They raise kids. They wanted to get married. They were a homemaker or something. That's their choice. If that's what they want to do, as long as no one's forcing them, who fucking cares in the left? These social Marxists think it's like toxic or something. No, it's toxic for you to tell women they can't choose that kind of lifestyle. But within companies, there can absolutely be pay discrimination. Only they tend to be media firms, apparently, that lean heavily to the left, like Vice, or like the Young Turks, or Salon, or Gawker, Jezebel, all these, Vox. All of these groups that lean left have this problem. When's the last time some drudge employee said, oh, I'm getting half as much as the male employee, the male journalist? Now, you know what? They don't fucking care. Partially because they know better than to have that situation. They probably know better because they know there's a big target on their backs for the left. But all these left-wing groups, they never thought it would be a problem. Oh, nobody would come after us. We're the ones that go headhunting after others for paying that woman 10 cents less an hour. We're the ones that do the headhunting. We're the hunter, not the hunted. Now, of course, they're the hunted because people are coming down around them. They've lost trust in the mainstream media, which is good. I mean, that's not a bad thing. They should distrust the mainstream media. They've been compromised by foreign states, by DC in some cases, and by corporate groups, multinationals, big banks. Other conglomerates. Some CEO gives them $10 million to suppress a story about how their oil drilling is causing cancer in some Wyoming community. We see that as slimy. Vice would report on that, but then they won't report on the corruption and skeevy problems within their own newsrooms. And these old, inefficient dinosaur media firms are dying off left and right. Now, they're in decline. Regularly, like CNN, I think, just fired a bunch of people and canceled several of their top billed projects, including Neistat's project. They had some sort of, what I don't even know exactly what kind of project it was. My hope is that he grew some balls, came out and told him to fuck off because he realized that they were trying to screw YouTube over. My hope is that he got wind of the fact that the legacy media is conducting nonstop propaganda on people even like him. He's a mainstream. He's not exactly out there in his views. They're trying to stab him in the back too. My hope is that, of course, he realized that, told him, hey, there's going to be a problem because I'm no longer going to pitch this project to people. Look, I'm a YouTuber. I can do fine on that. I don't need CNN's help. Look, he probably gets more views than most of the pundits on CNN now anyway. He's a big-time YouTuber. Can you even imagine, like PewDiePie or something? Or even Paul Logan. Logan Paul. Whichever. I think there are both, and I think they're both big. Aren't there two people? There's like a Paul Logan and then a Logan Paul? Or, I don't know. They get confusing. It can be because I don't keep up to date with my, e-celeb entertainment. I'm more about the analytical side, the educational documentaries, and, full length and live stream, like the blood sports side. I'm not so much into the, hey, I'm going to game side, unless it's Minecraft or Fallout. Yeah, I watched some interesting videos the other day about Fallout robot builds, and then I went into the castle. This is on the save game that I'm not recording, and I was just creating like abominations. Some of them, let me tell you, they have a fucking miserable existence. Like some robot with a skull, a metal skull for a face, floating around with 2 shish kebabs, and can't even like grab things. If it tried, it would burn them. That's pretty, it's pretty sad. Then you give him the click beep voice, you can't even talk to your own companion. That's about all. Peace out.